Hey, welcome back to the Cuba Data Science Show on YouTube. Today's session deals with SQL. We're going to try to answer a we're going to try to answer a question from one of our viewers. Uh, the question is this: which of our customers' average sales is greater than the average sales for the company as a whole? And I also suggest when you first start out, you always start with the use and the go function. That way you make sure you're loading the correct database. So we can do this. Now we got our database, okay? So we're going to solve this problem three different ways, okay? We're going to use views, temporary tables, and common table expressions or CTEs. So first thing we're going to create up here is we're going to create a view called corporate average or company average, okay? Using the cache function to convert this average into an integer, and we're assigning it to a column named company average, okay? First of all, let's take a look at what this report actually returns. It returns a single value of 246. Okay, so the company average is $246. So let's create this. Let's create this view. Now it's important to remember that views can successfully run. That views are permanent database objects. I mean, the view will be there until you delete it. Okay. Now we're going to calculate the customer average. Let's take a look at this customer average. So I just went and created a view. Let's take a look here at the actual numbers returned. So these are the customers. These are the average sales for each customers. Okay. So now we're going to do it. Now we're going to say which customer average sales is equal to the which company is. So now we're going to actually determine which customer's average sales is greater than the company average sales. And what you notice, there is no join. This is a very simple question. The select statement, the thing's a little different is the from statement includes the name of the two views that were created, but no join. Then we're going to say the customer average is greater than the company average, okay? And here we got it. You see this first customer clearly is about, what, 100, I don't know, what, $130 uh, over the company average. So that's a good deal. Uh, and again, if we want to find out which customers had the same average, which company had the same average sales the company is, and these are the 9 companies who have the same average sales the company average, okay? Let's change this back to create. And of course, we could do this. We could do less. Which customers have the sales is less than the company average? And there's 1,005 customers who are not matching the customer averages. Okay, let's be positive. Let's switch back over here to this. All right. So next question: temporary tables. Now, the syntax for creating a table from a query is to use the into function. Notice that the into function is always above the from statement. Now, what makes this a temporary table is the pound sign before the table name. And I'm putting a T there just to remind us that it is temporary, okay? So we can run this. Okay. Okay. Let's come back up here. And I mentioned that what makes this temporary is that these tables will only last as long, okay, as these tables will only last as long as your current session. So if you log off of R, if you log off of SQL Server, those temporary tables are deleted. Okay, let's see if these are working out. Good. Now we'll go create our corporate average table. And then we're going to create our customer average table. Okay. Now we're going to calculate again. The difference here is, of course, we simply replace views or table names with temporary table names. Okay. And here's the customers again. Same results. These are the customers whose average sales is equal to the company's average sales. Now let's take a look at customers who have sales greater than the company average. And here they are. Okay. Again, 576 rows. Finally, third, we're going to move on to what's called common table expressions, also referred to simply as CTEs. CTEs do not create a permanent object; they simply create a working table, sort of like a temporary table, except these things, the data, the result set by the CTE goes away, is removed once the CTE is finished processing. So again, these queries should look, the first thing I want you to notice is CTE start with and the CTE name and the as function, then opening brackets and close brackets, okay? So we've already solved this query right here. One thing about CTEs is you can't actually run the queries, you can actually check your results by checking your queries here, okay? Okay. I want you also to notice that there's no semicolon after the from statement, okay? So here's a closing bracket. Now notice the comma here. This tells us that this is going to be a nested subquery, okay, or a nested CTE statement. So our second CTE statement is called CTE3. Oh, by the way, you can use meaningful names for your CTE object if you want to. I'm just doing it the easy way. Again, as, and here's where the customer average is calculated. Okay. All right. Now we come down to the question: which customer's average is greater than company average? And the difference between this and the methods above is the from statements rather than containing table names contain the name of the two CTEs. The rest of it's actually the same. So come back up here to the top and run this. And now we got our numbers again. All right. And there you have it. That's your lesson for today. Hopefully this is. Hope you find it's helpful. Uh, you can use again. The main takeaway is write the two parts of the SQL. The way to approach these questions is to break it down into individual SQL statements, and then once you break them down, like I did with customer and company, then you recombine them using a select statement after that. Okay. But anyway, I hope you did find this helpful and encouraging. And as always, comments and suggestions are welcome in the table in the description below.